Alright, so welcome back to part 11 of the Bugatti Bolide design in SolidWorks. And then if you're just tuning into my channel, don't forget to subscribe. You can learn a lot with me and with my tutorials. And of course, if you start from part 1 from all of my tutorials, I can assure you can learn quite a lot. I'm dealing with complex surfaces and geometries. So if you learn that, then anything else will be a lot super easy. Okay, so on the last tutorial, we created this lower front splitter here, and then we were trying to add a chamfer here in some way, but we're going to attack that in a different way. And then once we finish that, we're going to show you what's the next surfaces that we're going to create. Okay, so let's do that. Let's click on front plane and make a sketch on that. First, normal to profile, and then that's the edge of this surface here. So we're gonna grab a line, and then we're gonna sketch this line from here to here, and we want to make this line straight. Okay, and then maybe we can pull this line up just a little bit to make things a little bit more aggressive. Okay, and once we have that, we're going to exit the sketch, and then we're going to go to trim surface, and if we go to trim tool, we're going to clear that selection out, and we're going to select our sketch. Let's clear that selection. So we want to select our sketch that we just made, which is sketch 67, and then we're going to remove these small surfaces that we just trying to trim out. All right, so that's trimmed out, and because this surface is way left, so it's dropping inwards, that will create a nice chamfer for us. So what we're going to do is just a simple boundary surface. So let's select the edge of that small surface, and let's select the edge of this surface here, and we're going to add tangency to face on this one, and we're going to add tangency to face on this one, and we're just gonna have a look that our tangency commands are not bleeding into any surfaces, and they are not. And let's have a look at that surface. Okay, so that surface looks really good. And then since we're here, we're going to knit these together. So let's knit these two together. All right, and it creates a nice shadow on the corner for us. All right, and then we're going to do the same thing on this side. We could mirror it over, but let's just do it this way. So let's select the edge, this edge, and then this edge. And then we're going to add tangency to face on this one, and then tangency to face on that one, and just double check that we are not bleeding into any surfaces here. Okay, press OK. And of course, let's knit this together. All right, and let's knit everything together on this front splitter and this piece here. All right, so now that is one piece of surface. All right, so now that that is done, we're going to have a look at the surface that we're trying to attack in this tutorial. All right, so let's jump into this one here. So the surface we're trying to attack here is going to be this surface here, this inlet, air inlet to cool the tires, of course. And then to do that, we need to determine this line here that jumps out, and then we're going to attach some 3D points on this surface here, which we will come out, then we will connect to this line, which we will determine. We won't see this line as it is on here on the blueprint, so we kind of have to guess on that one, unfortunately. Right. Okay, so let's get to our model here. And we're gonna jump over to our first display state. And then we're just gonna clean up some bits here that we don't need. And then clean up these lines as well. And clean up this line here. Okay, what else? We got these 2 points here. Clean those ones up. And then have something down here as well. Hide that. Hide that. And let's hide these lines as well. And this curvature here. Let's hide this point. And let's hide this 3D line from here as well. And let's hide this line. Okay, and then we can also hide plane 5 because we don't need it. And then this small line here, let's hide that. Okay, so the center line on the lower section, we need that. We can keep that. All right, so as I said before, we need to determine this edge here. Okay, so let's go and do that. But before we can do that, we're going to add an appearance, and this time we're going to use a green glass on the whole thing. Okay, and then let's just make a sketch on the front plane here. Okay, so as I said before, we need to determine that line, which is unfortunately it's not visible. It's not visible on our blueprint, but it's visible here. It's not coming out this way. It's completely flat from this side, so we don't have to worry about that. So as we can see, the corner that it drops out, so it comes down like that, and then it drops out just about at this corner, and we do have this corner to take reference from where we going to make that corner from that section. Okay, so this is that section here, and then it will go like that. It will go like that, and then that's the corner that we have here, and then and that corner, and then it will go something like that. Okay, because that line here will be the wheel arch, so we will have the wheel arch. So let's have a look at again, right? So we have the wheel arch here, and then this is also a completely flat surface, maybe with a little bit of profile. And then we have this wheel arch, and on top of the wheel arch, we have a little bit here and a little bit here. And then basically it comes down, and then it jumps out in this direction. Okay, so let's see that. So that's a wheel arch, right? Okay. Let me see that picture again. Where should we start our line? So our line should start somewhere about here, and then it will come in like that, and the wheel arch will come up that way, right? Okay, so let's make a sketch on the front plane. Just make sure that we are in that. So let's create a curve here first. Let's create a curve here first that comes out to about here, and exit the sketch. And then let's give this profile. It doesn't have much of a profile. Okay, and then okay, so that curvature here, let's bring this curvature down here a little bit, and maybe we stay on this line here just a tiny bit. And as we can see on the picture, it kind of stops here. So let's have a look at that. Let's have a look at that again. Yes, so it's a lot more steep, right? A lot more steep in that direction. A lot more steep in this way here. Um, okay, so that basically this should be about here, and then our that area will start from about here. Okay, so let's have a look at the picture again, and then it's probably somewhere about here where we're going to create a curvature just for reference. So somewhere here, right? So let's grab another spline here and then go from this point here, and then let's connect it to this point here and exit the sketch. And we're going to pull this line up into position until we have that curvature that will give us what we are after. So basically we need a little bit here that it kind of thins up here, and then it gets tight where it gets thicker around here in that area. Let's bring this picture in here somehow and then have a look. Yeah. Okay, so we're pretty close on that one, except we can maybe pull this up to about here, and then maybe pull this line down to about here, and then we leave it something like that. And of course we can always come back and edit that later on. Let's have a look at this picture again, and I think that should be, so we need a nice even amount of V large in this area. So that's the edge. There. And bring it back a little bit. And I believe we will have a good wheel arch on that one. So just bring this down a little bit here. Again, what we want is this to be correct here, because we're going after this section. Okay, so that looks good for now, and then I'm going to press OK here. All right, and exit the sketch. And then we're gonna come and make a sketch on the top plane. Yeah. So this is the spot what we are after here. This curvature here. Okay, so let's grab a spline, and then we're gonna come from here and then all the way back here, like that. And we're going to give this a little bit of profile as well, and then pull this in that direction. Okay, so probably make it a bit longer here, and then that's a good for over there, and just pull it out to about here, just like that. All right, good. So let's exit the sketch. And then we're going to jump into, of course, our projected curve, sketch and sketch. And we're going to choose these two sketches here. All right. So if we jump over to a second display state, we can see already that we have something to work with. It's sticking out that direction, which is good. And it is coming down that direction. So let's bring back the picture here, see if we are good on that one. So it comes out to about here, but it's actually not visible. So that should be fine. However, we can probably make this a bit longer. But we don't need it. We don't need to make it longer because that will curve underneath the surface that we will create next. Okay, so the next surface we want to do is we want to jump into 3D sketch and grab some 3D points. And then we want to add 1 point here and then 1 point here. Exit the sketch and then jump into this view here so we can add these points where they need to be. So this one's going to be here and then one going to be right here. So we're following this line in that direction, so it will have some downforce as well. All right. Okay, so once we have that, um, let's jump into a second display state here. And then just let's bring up a picture. And then a way longer actually than it needs to be, so that's good. All right. So let's jump into a second display state. And the first line we're going to do, the 3D sketch, is going to be from this point up to this line here. Exit the sketch. And let's jump back into our second display state, and we're going to adjust this curvature. So if we pull this point all the way back to that corner here, where it actually starts, and then we're going to grab the handlebars and then pull them into position. Okay, so that's good on top view, from the top view. And then let's have a look at from the front. And that's just going to give a little bit of profile from the front as well, but it's already good. All right, we're spot on that one. Okay, exit the sketch. And then if you look at our picture here, we can see that our next line is jumping right into the corner of that. Coming here, so the next one will jump right into that corner there. Right into this corner. Okay, so let's jump back into a second display state. And then another 3D sketch, 3D spline. And we're gonna go from that point all the way into this corner. And of course, we're just going to align everything to that first line. That looks good there. And then we're just going to align it from the front as well. So we're going to same amount of profile from the front as in the back. All right, that looks good. And then, to be honest, I think we should make this a bit smaller on this side, just a little bit. So let's bring back our second display state and then get into view from the front plane. And we're just gonna pull that point a bit closer. Okay, of course, remove that. And so we're just gonna move it a little bit closer. And just make sure that we are good on every direction. Okay, that's good. Exit the sketch. And then we're going to add another 3D sketch. Another 3D spline from this point to that point. But let's jump into our second display state so we can add that. Like that. Okay, and then we're just going to jump into the front view and we're going to give this a profile so it's not completely straight. And that should be probably enough on that downforce. And exit the sketch. Okay, all right. So obviously the next thing we're going to do is jump into fill surfaces, and then we already selected that one and this one, and then we select this line here. And direction 2 is going to be, oh yes, boundary surface, yes. Direction 2 is going to be this one. And also direction 2, we want this side to be straight. Okay, so it's straight here, but then it will pick up a little bit of curvature somewhere here slowly. Alright, so that's good for that surface there. Okay, so the next one is, the next surface is going to be, let's jump into our first display state here. And then click on the front view. And then we're gonna start from this corner here. We're gonna start from this corner and we're going to draw a bunch of lines all the way throughout. But before we do that, we're going to add a 3D point on this surface here. So let's do that. 3D sketch, 3D point. So as I said, we're going to draw a whole bunch of lines here. But before we do that, I want to determine the edge of this car. Obviously, it's going to be here. So let's grab that. Sorry. All right. So let's create that bunch of lines that will come off from here, and it's going to be 3D. So 3D spline through this spline, and then we're going to start from this corner here, and then yeah, just a bunch of lines here, a bunch of points actually, as much as possible. Oh, actually, I forget to do something, which is yeah, probably we don't need it. We can do it like that way. So we're gonna come up all the way to this edge here. So exit the sketch, and then let's click on this line and add our control polygons, and click on our control polygons to pull them where they need to be. Okay, so that's gonna be here, and now we're just going to adjust these lines. Okay, so basically this comes out to about here, and it goes straight, quite straight on that one. But also what I want to do, I want to click on this line and then hold control and then click on this line and add a tangency just on that one, so that will stay tangent no matter what. And then we're going to stay straight on this area here. Okay, and then adjust these lines as much as possible. So let's make this a little bit sharp on this area here, and pull this down here. All right, and then let's have a look now from the side and fix that up from the side as well. Normal to profile, well, not from here. So click on front plane, normal to profile, and then we're gonna click on our control polygon, control points, and pull them into position. Also, I'm hoping that you are following my tutorial, and then you're not confused by anything. If you are, don't hesitate to ask me any questions in the comments, of course. All right, so let's see this one here. Let's see what we got. So that's a tangent placed there, which is invisible. And then we're going to pull that into position down here. All right, so pull that here down a little bit. It's actually lower from this side. It's actually lower than this surface. So pull that into position. Don't worry if it's a bit higher in this way, because it's unfortunately on this blueprint, even though it's a high definition blueprint, it's still a bit pixelated. But we can always come back and edit our surfaces later on. All right. So maybe adjust a little bit here. Pull it straight. All right, and then let's have a look from the top. So if you press spacebar on your keyboard, you get this box, and then just maybe pull this straight from the top as well, so that we are straight here as well. Okay, so let's pull that like that, and then let's jump back into the front. Let's jump into the front here. The TV is a bit too loud. Okay, so let's continue with this one here. And again, I want to be straight on this side here. So it looks pretty good from the front. And let's just double check from the side again. And then we're gonna jump into our we're gonna jump back into our second display state. Let's pull this a bit closer to that edge, and that looks good here. So let's again just double check from the top, from the front, and that looks pretty good from the front. Make that a little bit more straight here, and then just pull this down about here, and double check again from the side. And probably that's the best tolerance we can bring out with this surface here. All right, so let's jump back into our second display state here, and then we can see that surface a little bit better, and we can see already that needs to be adjusted there. Okay, and then this one here. And then pull this one up here. All right, and let's have a look from the front, how that looks. So it looks pretty good from the front, and then it looks pretty good from the side as well, and it has a draft that is coming this way. So let's jump into the side view here, and we're looking good from the side, of course, and then we're looking good from the front as well. Okay, all right, so that's done here, and then the next thing we're going to do is we need an exit point for this inlet that will touch onto the tire, of course. And to do that, we're going to exit the sketch. And we can always come back here and edit this surface later on if we're not so happy with it. Okay, so let's let's go into 3D sketch and grab a center line. And let's grab the center line from this corner. And we want to be, let's exit this one here. I'm not sure if you're in a 3D sketch, because we want to be in 3D sketch. So 3D sketch and then construction line, and now we are in a 3D sketch. So get on that point, and we want to be on the X and Z axis. So press tab on your keyboard, so X and Z axis, and it's gonna pull that there, and press escape on your keyboard, and then exit from here, and then let's put our plane on that sketch which was made. So click on the line first, and then click on the point. Well, we clicked on the different point. So plane, line, and point. That's it. That's our plane right there in the perfect position. And then press OK. All right, so let's make a sketch on this plane here, normal to profile. All right, and our exit point is going to be in here, and is going to come up to about this point here, and then it's going to fall very close to this wall here. So let's start by adding a spline, and then we're going to add that spline starting that spline from all the way up here and come down to about or let's go from, because I want to be very close to this one here, So let's go from here like that, exit the sketch, click on that line, and then we're going to give this a little bit of profile as well. Something like that. And then we can pull it even closer to the wall. Okay, and then let's add another spline. And this inlet is going to be about this wide. About that much. Exit the sketch. And another spline coming down to here. Exit the sketch. And let's give this a nice profile down here. Down here, and then we're gonna pull this in here. So let's have a nice profile down there. All right, and another spline down here in this area. Okay, and the next thing to do is we're going to add these some fillets. We're going to try 2 on that. Okay, and 2 looks good. All right, and then exit the sketch. And then we can hide this plane here. Hide the plane, and then we can hide the line. And that's all what we need. All right. So, and the next sketch we want to add is going to be from here to add a nice profile on the curvature inlet. So 3D sketch, 3D spline, and we're gonna come with this line from here to this point. Exit the sketch, and then let's jump to the top of it, and let's go from here. All right, and then we're going to add this curvature in that direction. So not this direction. We're going to add it in this direction here. Okay, and this way it will curve that way. Okay, exit the sketch. All right, and now we can actually let's have a look at this one here. Right. Okay, so the first surface we're going to do is we're going to try to do these 2 surfaces here. So let's do that. So let's go to surfaces and do a boundary surface and do selection manager, and then select this whole thing. And then the next one we're going to select, we're going to try and do with the selection manager. Let's try this one here, this one, and press OK. Let's try and flip these connectors. And let's pull this down here. Okay, so that's the surface actually. That's the surface we're trying to go after. All right, and then for direction 2, we're gonna select this line here. But we want this to be straight here, obviously. So we're going to add a line. We're going to add a line between these 2 points here. So let's go and do a 3D sketch, 3D spline from here to here, exit the sketch, exit this one here. All right, and let's go back to surfaces and boundary surface, and let's select this line again, and then selection manager, this one here, this one here, this one here, and then press OK. All right, and then let's flip these connectors again and pull this point down to that point. Okay, perfect. So now we are on that line. And for direction 2, we're going to choose again this line here that we just created, and also the line that we just created, the straight line here. Okay, so that's the surface we are looking for here. So press OK. All right, so that created that surface for us. And then it will come in this direction. All right. So that's one surface. The second surface we are trying to attack is basically going up to this point here. So let's hide this line here for now. Let's hide that line there. And then actually let's go back because we hit some other lines as well that we need. So boundary surface. Yeah, we need this one. And then what else? And then we need this one here. Okay. So let's go ahead and then probably let's try and do a boundary surface between these two, and maybe to use that one as a direction 2. All right, and this point we just can pull back to that point here. Need to pull it back onto that point here. Okay, we're gonna go as close as possible, and probably we're gonna trim out some. Let's try that again. Okay, and we will trim out some points on that one. And let's have a look at the surface here. So we do have tangency over here, kind of. And let's just bring in our second display state to see all tolerances here. And then take off this glass appearance, remove the appearance. Right, so basically it will come down, the rest of the surface will come down, and we will cut back from that surface anyways, and it will become a straight surface. So we are good with that surface. So let's jump back to the second display state, back into it. Okay, and then what we're going to do is try to do a boundary surface between this, and let's do selection manager. Actually, we don't need this line anymore, so hide that. So we can do a boundary surface between these two lines here. So of course we need to pull that back. Let's press OK here. And then we will try and do a filled surface on all of these faces here. So filled surface. Actually, let's try and do a boundary surface between this and this point here. Select the connectors. Now, actually, you know what? Actually, it's good as it is. And then in the next tutorial, we will fix this up to be a little bit better, of course. But for now, we're gonna leave it as is. Okay, and it's a good surface to work with already. And of course, some of it will be cut off anyways because the wheel arch will become one with the surface here. All right, so let's mirror this surface over to the other end, see how it looks. So you should jump over to features and mirror. And for mirror face plane, we use your front plane here. And for bodies to mirror, we're gonna use these bodies that we just created. And press OK. All right. So, thanks very much for staying me with this tutorial. On this tutorial, and I'm going to see you back in part 12 tutorial where we are going to fix up the rest of these the small areas of this one here, this inlet to cool the tire, and then we will continue creating some more surfaces. Let's see how many more surfaces we need to create in the front section here. Yeah, so we got a little bit more on the middle section here, and of course some other splitters in the front here in the mid section of it. Okay, so we're going to close this section up here in the next tutorial halfway, and then fix this here, and then we're going to add something more in the middle here. All right. Yeah. Okay, so see you in the next tutorial. Take care. Bye.